Hello everyone. This is a unit 3 continued session number 28. The topic is bias in performance appraisal. So what is bias? Bias are very important. In any organization setting, the performance appraiser are evaluating the performance of the individual or employee. The bias will occur. Human bias and prejudice affect judgment of performance appraisal or evaluation. So this is some common source of error that can distort the performance, including halo effect and other systematic bias. So here the bias in performance appraisal has two bias here. Another, the first one is called the halo effect and the second one is other sources of error. So these are the bias occurring judgment of performance appraisal. So what is halo effect? Halo effect is very important here. The tendency to judge all aspects of person's behavior or character on the basis of single attribute known as the halo effect. One single characteristic, based on one single characteristics, we have to judge all aspects of behavior of the person, which is known as halo effect. For example, if we find a person to be physically attractive, we may tend to think of that person also friendly, likable, easy to get along with, generalizing from one attribute to personality characteristic and the other the abilities. A supervisor who scores an employee high on one factor of a merit rating scale may tend to grade that person high on all other factors. So this is called as a based on one single characteristics we have to judge remaining aspects of the individual behavior. That is called as a halo effect. This is the one bias in performance appraisal. When coming to the second bias, that is called as the other sources of error or other sources of bias. So other sources also affect the performance appraisal of the employee. So what are the other sources? There are 6 other sources of error is there. First one, we can call it as a constant or systematic bias. Constant or systematic bias. A source of error in performance appraisal based on the different standards used by the raters. That is called as a constant or systematic bias. Some raters or supervisor expect more than others from their employees. Similarly, they have to give the easy graders and expect less than from less hard graders, easy graders, less performer like that. That is called as a constant or systematic bias. The second one, we can call it as a multi-recent performance errors. Multi-recent performance errors means a source of error in performance appraisal in which a rater tends to evaluate the worker's most recent job behavior rather than the behavior throughout the period of since last appraisal. So based on most recent job. So previously they can do very effectively, but now they get any fever like that. They can do not possible to reach the goal. In that case, most recent studies, if you judge like that, that is not a that is also that lead to the bias of the performance of employee. So this is a multi-recent performance error. So the next one we can call it as a inadequate information error. So the supervisor cannot receive the adequate information of about the employee. Based on some of the lack of information, they cannot receive the information. Based on that, they can assess the performance of the employee. That is also leads to the bias of the organization setting. The next one we can call it as the average rating error. So here a source of error performance appraiser with rater is unwilling to assign very good or very poor ratings. They are not ready to give this is a good performance, this is a poor performance. They are not ready because of that they are giving to average rating scale. That's it. That is also lead to the bias of the individual. The next point is talk about interpersonal effect. So our feelings, our emotions toward another person, which is known as the interpersonal relationship. In performance appraisal, the emotional tone of the relationship between manager and employee, whether positive or negative, can influence the assign the ratings. If I give positive, I give the, if the employee will do the work or not, I'll give the positive one. If I have negative relationship with the employee, I give the negative feedback to him. So this is also leads to the bias of the organization, bias of the employee behavior. The next one is called role conflict, a situation that arises when there is a disparity between job demands and employee personal standards. What does that mean? So if it has contradiction between jobs demands and supervisor standards, right, of right or wrong, so that is also related lead to the bias of the employee. So these are all comes under bias of performance appraisal. So we'll going to the move on to the revision section. So bias in performance appraisal, it can be mainly divided into the halo effect and other sources of error. And other sources of error, constant or systematic bias is there, inadequate information error is there, multi-recent performance error is there, average rating error is there, role conflict, interpersonal effect. So these are all the bias related to bias in performance appraisal. Thank you for watching.